And we are live. This is Travis from Carter Cow Capital, Trade with Travis, and Expert Advisor Reviews on YouTube. I hope everybody's doing very well this morning as we go through and be able to take a look at what's happening for trades. This is the 1st of February. So, that means new month, new momentum. It's always good to be able to get started when it comes down to that. I'm actually starting a new prop firm challenge. Looking at being able to do that manually and automated this month. So I'm going to see how well that ends up going. I'm personally doing my Forex funds when it comes down to that, going after the $100,000 challenge. So this is day one when it comes down to that. So you can see how everything kind of goes with that. Obviously, with everything else, January didn't pass. Being transparent, just kind of going from there. Use the automation systems and everything else. Did not pass because of days, and did not pass because I passed because of the amount of days that we ended up trading, but um, did not pass when it came down to the amount that we were supposed to be able to get. So going through a new month, obviously taking a look at some of the stuff that we end up doing wrong and tweaking that. Here we go. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. And I understand that trading involves risk, involves risk of being able to make money, also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind and understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you can end up making money today. So with that being said, as we go through and be able to take a look at this, hope everybody's doing very well. Please help me out and let me know if my sound is good as we end up getting everything else situated. And stop touching me. Come here. 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 And you gonna say hey, say hey, say good morning. Say good morning. Now you don't want to do anything. Get out of here, big man. All right, you want to sit right here? You want to sit right here? Okay, cool. We'll sit right here. Um, let's see. Let's see what's going on, Block. Hope everything's going well. What's going on, CMG? Hope everything's going well with you. Um, let's see. What we end up doing is taking a look at the FX Street economic calendar. We'll take a look at what's happening with the big three. We'll take a look at what's going on with all of the stuff as we go through. Oh, you want? Come on. There you go. There you go. What, you want to be on the camera? Or you want to be off the camera? Huh? Take my phone. Go ahead. Take my phone. All right. Cool. So don't tell me you dropped my phone. Today is a fundamental say. We end up seeing that we have core um, core harmonized index for consumer prices. They end up coming out, actually end up being negative overall. They end up doing well for us year by year, but it did not do great overall when it came down to those numbers. So we'll take a look at that a little bit later on today. We're going to end up having the interest rate decision and the FOMC press conference. So if you have not traded news before, here's the simple thing. We know that the news is going to end up coming out at 2 o'clock. So the early trades in the morning, you're probably going to end up getting one little push of a move. And then after that, you're probably going to end up seeing the market kind of consolidate when it comes down to that. Hey, what's going on? Hope everything's going well with you. Uh, I'm gonna mess up your name, so I'm not gonna. I'm gonna say Silva. Hopefully, I end up saying the first part right. But hope everything's going well with you. Um, but as we end up taking a look at it, obviously we have interest rate decisions. So it's simple and clean. Here's the thought process: 15 minutes. Wait 15 minutes after the wait 15 minutes after the news ends up coming out. After the news ends up coming out, then after that, you can be able to see what the overall direction of the move actually is. If it goes with what your thought process was when it comes down to your analysis, then take the trade. If it doesn't, then stay away. There's no reason for you to sit up there and jump inside of a trade if you don't feel like it's there. All right, so that's what we have a little bit later on. But remember, when Jerome Powell speaks, the market moves. So we know that the market's going to move in some direction. The question is, what is that direction going to end up being? The market's been on a lot of consolidation. Now we're trying to see if it's going to end up going from there. All right. Since I have Bitcoin, that's the first one on the screen. I'm going to start off with this one. It's very simple. If we take a look at Bitcoin, I'm just going to go based off of the hour. I don't need to look at anything else. It's in the middle of consolidation right now, where the support is at 22,310 and the resistance is at 23,790. As long as the market is in the middle of this overall consolidation, then after that we're going to keep it in we're going to keep that trade and just kind of save it from there. Bonjour. Are we trading live? Yes, we are. Good morning to you. Good morning to you too as well. Taking a look at what's happening with Bitcoin as we are looking at it currently right now as we speak. Um, but Bitcoin currently right now, nothing to be able to do. The market has been showing that it's not necessarily inside of a consolidation breakout phase. It's showing more that it's in a um, more of a counter trend line break phase when it comes down to movement. I'm going to show that when it comes down to most U.S. pairs because I've been noticing that a little bit more um, overall. But Bitcoin, really nothing to be able to do. I'm just going to wait and see what's going on with that. For my people that have grid systems, you should be feasting off of this. But for the people that like to be able to trade breakouts, currently right now, it's not the move. Um, we take a look at what's happening with the United States dollar index. Let's go ahead and start off with the weekly. We see it based off the weekly. The market is in the buy zone. We should be expecting that this market could start to be able to make some type of retracement at some point. Maybe today might end up being the catalyst for that overall movement. I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but we do know that today is an interest rate day. Today is the first day of the new month. So you may end up seeing a little bit more of a push overall when it comes down to this movement overall from banks and everything else. So, from a weekly perspective, we're still inside of consolidation, which means that there's really nothing to be able to do from a weekly perspective. We take a look at it from a daily perspective. We see that we're still inside of that same consolidation with a breakout areas at 12,757 and these my supports at 12,650. So, as long as this market kind of stays in between, there's really nothing to be able to do overall. Hopefully today we might end up getting a little bit more of an idea about how the market is going to end up moving overall. We look at it from a daily perspective. We look at it from an hourly perspective. The market broke out of that small consolidation, but has not broken to the downside from this position yet. So currently, right now, nothing to be able to do. We end up having a sale on this one, but we're just kind of waiting. Block ended up saying this entire market is floating just before FOMC. I've been noticing the grid blocks have been doing well. Great a week before Fed meetings. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. You're gonna see a lot of consolidation. It's really nothing to be able to take a look at. If you really think about it, you take a look at what happened with this in January alone. The first week was a large, big pop of a move. As a matter of fact, you could say the first 2 weeks was a large, big pop of a move. After that, the market just went into consolidation and kind of died off. Uh, Typically, you end up having a big pop of a move in the second week, and the first week is kind of unstable. But this reminds me of what ended up happening in 2020, where pretty much every EA system ended up getting its tail kicked unless it was a grid system. So we'll see. I might have to start being able to make grid systems all over again. Who knows? Oil inside of consolidation. Support is at 82.50. Resistance at 82.50. Support is at $70 a barrel currently right now. Like I've been saying for the last few days, there's really nothing to be able to do off of that pair either. Slim pickings before the news comes out. Take a look at gold. Uh, I know that the challenge doesn't start until you end up having your first trade on this first day, but geez, I would love to be able to trade, but I got to find something that's going to end up making sense to be able to get into. Gold, we take a look at it from a weekly perspective. Market has been on a long-term consolidation where resistance is at 2070. The support at that particular point in time was at 1615. Since then, the market ended up breaking out of three different areas, including 1824, where we ended up taking our last trade. The D extension was at 1872. The last time we ended up taking a look at this from a daily perspective, we've seen that the market has been in consolidation, but is actually showing signs of being able to break a counter trend line break to the upside. Now, with that being said, as we take a look at that and kind of keep that in mind, uh, we do have a large move that ended up happening a few hours ago. Actually, ended up happening yesterday based off of this morning SAR. And since then, we've been getting continuation. I think this is fool's gold. The reason why I think it's fool's gold is because the news hasn't came out. I think this is that last little pump before you end up seeing the market actually make a decision. So I'm not going to jump in on gold either. Unfortunately, really nothing to be able to do when it comes down to that overall pair. You could buy it up and try to see if you can get up to 1939, which would be the top of the resistance right here. But once again, it's kind of going back to what I ended up saying before. We know that news is going to end up coming out a little bit later on today. Are we just is this move just people getting played so the market can be able to fall? But we end up going down from there. What's going on, Fatty? Goodbye opportunity on gold. Literally, as I just said that, he just said something about buying on gold. Uh, okay, Fatty. Yes, I think if you're gonna scalp it, absolutely, because you're looking at basically a bullish engulfing candlestick right here. I don't know if this is fool's gold. If I'm being honest, if we end up taking a look at it, yes, there's a counter trend line break from a 2 hour perspective. We take a look at it from a 1 hour perspective. We see that there's a clear movement up to the upside. We take a look at it from a weekly perspective. We know that the market is in the sell zone. We take a look at it from the daily perspective. We know that the market was in the sell zone, but now the market has been consolidating a little bit. So to me, I'm getting mixed. I'm getting mixed views on this one, Fatty. I'm just being honest. If it does push, don't be surprised that it might end up pushing up to the 1972 area that we end up talking about before. But I don't know. I'm torn on this one. If this wouldn't be my first trade that I would end up putting in a prop firm challenge, or not the one that I would want to. Let's see. And from a previous trade, when I would close, going to end up playing it safe. I mean, yeah, obviously. Um, Depending on where you end up getting in at. Obviously, I know that you know how to be able to manage your trades. You do a very good job of being able to do that. Me as a person that's looking at this for the first time and trying to figure out if I wanted to be able to get in, I'm saying no. At least right now, me personally, I'm saying no. But obviously, you're already in, so that's great. Let's get through. Let's get through the basics real quick. Let's go Euro United States dollar. Gonna end up going on the trading view and being able to show all of those charts, and kind of being able to explain what I've been seeing this morning because I've been looking at the charts all this morning. Um, this is what we know from a from an Ikomoku standpoint. The market is bullish. It's been bullish since the market ended up breaking out in November. Since then, the market has been truly bullish. It's pushing up to um, this last highest move or the last highest peak when it comes down to high volume. Currently, right here, right around 108, 108.90. Currently, the market is at 108.95. There's a counter trend line break to the upside. We can see that the market has been bullish and it has been pushing up bullish a lot. All right. So, if I'm going into this, I'm thinking, yes, I want to be able to buy. We end up having news that ended up coming out from the eurozone that was actually pretty good as well. So that's telling us that we should be looking at being able to buy overall. Okay. The question is, are we going to end up seeing right before the news come out? Is this going to end up being more of a pump fake? And then after that, you see the market kind of make its true move, if that makes sense. So we did it based off of weekly. Here's daily. I want to go and kind of do some fibs real quick just to kind of see what I'm seeing. And then after that, we kind of go from there. So, matter of fact, we can do it right here. Euro United States dollar. Let's go to the daily real quick. All right, so daily D extension is at 1.01 or 1.1. Currently, the market is at 108.94. We're in our R3 position, which means that we're in a push zone, which means that we should be looking at buying until this market ends up completing the D extension. All right, so as long as the market stays within this overall push zone, then that means that there's going to be way more buyers than there are going to end up being sellers. So keep that in mind as you go through and be able to make your decision on what you're going to end up doing for trading this, because it is in a push zone. There's a better chance of the market being able to complete this overall move to the upside. Now that spells some good things about gold, because if the United States dollar is just going to remain to be weak, then you may see that it might end up getting up to that 1939 number, Fatty, when it comes down to that push. Um, but overall, let's see, from a daily perspective, from an hourly perspective, the market has been showing a little bit of consolidation. Um, which matches up with what we end up seeing right here. Okay, where you go? Where you go? Where you go? Oh, there we go. Okay. Here goes your support. Here goes your resistance right here, or natural resistance right there. We can see that with the high volume node that we've been looking at. Um, if this market breaks above 109, 109.23, and it closes above that, then I think we got a solid trade to be able to take to the upside. If it goes up there and automatically rejects, it's going to reject hard, especially if it rejects right around 2 o'clock. Okay, so please keep that in mind as we go through and kind of see how everything's going to end up playing itself out. We go to the 4 hour and kind of see what's going to end up happening from there. This market breaks. Let's talk about. Does everybody see the same thing that I see? Y'all see big fish hunting right here? I take a look at US 30. I take a look at obviously I take a look at US 30 and NAS 100. I took a look at XVX 500 earlier this morning. I have two pending orders that I'm looking at being able to get into on those. We'll talk about those as well. A lot of free area once this market ends up breaking. We can see last time we ended up taking a look at this was the consolidation. Market ended up having a huge drop to the downside here to basically where it stopped. So essentially, that same area where we end up having low volume nodes is the same area that we're about to go back into. I like what I see when it comes down to that. Pending order will end up being at 109. For me to be safe, I'm going to say 109.30. 109.30. Take profit on that one. We end up going up to 1.12. The question is, how long would it take to get there? Stop loss on this one. How much are we risking? Maybe 150 points. 150 for 287. We can get a little bit closer on that one. I'll go to the 15-minute now. That's the last swing low that we end up having, which was at 108, basically 108. Stop loss will end up being just below 108. Stop loss will be at 108 if I'm doing this. If I'm looking at being able to take a buy, if this market ends up breaking out of this position, 109.30 will end up being the buy area for us being able to get in. Take profit will end up being, hold on, give me a second. Let me clear this up one more time just to make sure this is a little bit cleaner. Here. Want to get out at 1.12. You can say 1.12 as a whole number, just to be safe. That's a 1 to 2 point. It's a 1 to 2.1 trade, not a 1 to 2.3 like I usually like to be able to have, but um, it's decent. It's not the greatest in the world, but it is a decent move. We've done been in consolidation in this pair for almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, done been in this pair for 15 days. So uh, the move on that pair could end up being pretty good. Now, let's keep in mind the market falls. Let's say what happens. Let's get an idea for if the market falls, what I would end up doing as well. Um, the market falls and goes below. I'm looking at 107, 107.80. Take profit will end up being at 106, 106.70. Stop loss on that one we end up being just above those overall swing lows. So we end up having, once again, another 1 to 2.0 risk reward ratio. I like that pending order. The thing is, I got to see what I don't want to see personally is that this market breaks above this position and starts being able to break out of this position before 2 o'clock. If that happens, that will have me more cautious on if I should take the trade because that means to me that the market may fall down if that happens. Okay, so there we go. Order on this one. I'm gonna type this in real quick. Stop loss. Got at 108. Take profit at 1.12. Got any questions about this one? Any concerns about it? Pending sale. I got 5 minutes, so I'm going to speed up. 107.80. Sale. So 1.07. 780. Stop loss. Go to the 15-minute, get a better number off of that one. $108.37. Okay, so 108.35. Take profit. 106.70. Okay, there we go. I'm going to keep this up for a quick second so everybody can be able to take a look at it. Obviously, we're taking a look at two different high volume nodes that we're going after, or low volume nodes that we're going after when it comes down to the gaps. The first one will end up being basically where the market end up replacing this overall move at first, which is this move right here. Want to stop just before that high volume node. The second one is based off of the 4 hour and seeing the market kind of pump based off of that previous last consolidation move where we have this nice gap of low volume nodes that we can be able to go after. So there goes my two orders for that one. I'm going to keep that up for another second, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Okay, go. Let's go. US 30. US 30 is in a larger consolidation, a very large scale consolidation. There hasn't been any movement. US 30, to be honest, sucked this for July. I mean, not July, for January. Um, Aside from being able to have that big pop that ended up happening up here where the market actually ended up moving right around 400 points. the market was basically confined to 34,630 and support of 32,560. I'm sorry, 32,550. And currently, right now, the market is basically showing that it's slowing down as well inside of this position. Even though I would love to be able to take a trade, and everybody knows that I like being able to trade US 30 and NAS 100 and everything else like that, there's no move. Um, there's no move right now on this one. Okay, so me personally, staying away from it. And I think when I look at what happened with the EA, I can see why it kind of fumbled a little bit, just because there's no, even though it's a breakout system, there's really no direction. The market just popping and just bouncing around and not doing anything. Let's see. Um, now it's 100. Just looking at now it's 100. Which one did I look at it off of? I'm going to say Atlanta. Okay, cool. Last time we ended up taking a look at this one. Remember, I ended up talking about how I felt like the market is kind of phasing into a counter trend line break type of movement. Nas is giving a better trending type of move. We've seen that the market ended up breaking out on January 9th, had that big push, um, retraced a little bit. You got an ABCD movement right here. You got another ABCD movement right there. Currently, right now, we're going through our third ABCD movement right here with this counter trend line break. The market just has not broken out of this area, and this area is leading to high volume. So the question is, are we going to end up seeing a little bit later on today that this market may end up falling all the way down to here, and then after that start and being able to make another consolidation inside of this area? Or is it going to end up breaking this highs and then after that really starting to be able to pop back up to the upside? We got an order last week that for some people, if you end up doing it, you end up, I think you would have lost that one. Um, if you would have got right back in, then you possibly would have won on that one. But currently, right now, we're still kind of in the midst of this large consolidation that ended up happening from early November to ending off right before Christmas. So we're basically back inside of that area. Now, once the market ends up breaking out of that area, we have a solid gap in overall space. And I know I didn't use this chart because I had two orders. Hold on. Everybody, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up another chart. Uh, okay, I thought I had another chart. Let's see. Okay. Cancel. Okay, well, let me just explain it like this. Once the market ends up breaking this resistance of 12,000, then the market has a very good chance of being able to get back up to these highs, which was right around 12,440. Um, Once it breaks that 12,440 area, then after that, it's kind of has smooth selling until it ends up getting up to 12,900 when it comes down to that movement. The funny part about that was the last time that the market ended up getting up to 12,900 was during the FOMC meeting minutes when the market ended up having this large pop to the upside right during the summertime, and then after that rejected hard when the news actually ended up going out. So it popped up to the upside. It was an 800-point move. I remember us ended up taking that trade, and then after that, the market ended up falling down another 1,400 points all the way down to support, in which that was a trade that I did not take because I was actually in class. I remember exactly when that happened. Uh, so we take a look at this currently at this particular point and kind of go back to where we currently are. The market ends up breaking out of this 12,080 area in which we're currently right here. Then we got a larger push that we can end up seeing that this market can be able to go through up here, at least up to right there first. Um, But once again, kind of going into what I ended up saying before, I would love to be able to see that this market falls down first before being able to jump inside of this market. I want to see a little bit of a retracement before the news comes out instead of the news actually just being in and just making this overall move. see. Let's go to the 4 hour and see. Okay, so yeah, we got a better, we got a simpler gap that we can be able to take from here to 12,280. Uh, so it ended up being that same 12,080 number, but the safe position to be able to get out would be at 12,280. Stop loss on that one would have to be just below the swing low. Oh, did I do a short or long? Long position here, here, and I'll do this. Any questions before we get out of here? Any questions before we get out of here? Whatever that swing low is going to end up being, your stop loss needs to be below that swing low. So currently, right now, we're looking at the 4 hour. We're looking at what's happening with the 1 hour. Um, we're seeing that the market is actually popping inside of this area now. So the question is, do you want to take the trade? Um, if we're being very honest, but it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and I don't typically don't jump into trades like that. I wouldn't want to jump into it either, even though I know that even though I know that should. My eyes are going to be on this one, but I'm not going to jump in yet. Let's see, risk 140 points going out there, 400 off of that one. That's not 280. It'll be somewhat at a cent of something like this here to here. Everybody, I'll give y'all a little bit more information on this one a little bit later on. I'm going to monitor this one as we go through today, but that's one of the pairs that I do like. I do want to talk about XBX 500 real quick. I did see this one before we left out. I think I ended up placing again. I think I ended up writing up two orders. Uh, nope. Like, what did I use? Nope. Yes, 500. No. Okay. I have to find it. If I do, I end up placing it in the idea section. Let's see. I've been calling this buy for 2 weeks now, playing out great so far. Which one are you talking about? US 30? Oh, there it is. I like what I see with US 30 once it ends up breaking above. I like what I see with not US 30, XPX 500 once it ends up breaking above 4150. If it breaks above 4150, then I'll look at being able to get out at 42.95 and at 43 43.70 respectively when it comes down to those moves. That's two pending orders on that one. Now it's 100. You're talking about the buy on that one. I think we already looked at it, but oh yeah. No, I want to, let's not get it twisted, Fatty. I definitely want to get in. Um, the question is should we get in right now? Or should we wait just a little bit longer and see if the market's going to fall a little bit? But I am definitely interested in that position. All right, everybody. What happened to the floating car stock? I don't know. Steve from SoCal. I haven't seen him in a while. But remember, I wasn't knowing TradingView for a while either. So I don't know if obviously he ends up He probably ended up going with some other people just to be able to take a look at. Um, but we end up taking a look at those. You like what we end up doing? Make sure that you end up clicking on, click on that boost button for me. For everyone else, obviously that's watching on YouTube, make sure that you end up hitting, the subscribe button as we're still trying to grow when it comes down to that. Like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade your plan. I see each and every one of y'all a little bit later on. Take it easy. Have a good trading day.